I often hear the suggestion that structured products are complex investments. Now, any investment that you want to drill down and keep pulling apart is going to look complicated, whether that's an open-ended investment company, a unit trust, a deposit account. To give you an analogy, this is a glass of water. To you and me, it's a glass of water. Yet we could drill down into the molecular structure, the atomic structure, we could look at the viscosity of the liquid, the glass, etc. We can make that as complicated as you like, but it's still a glass of water. A structured product is going to do what it says on the tin. So if it's going to give you a 10% gain for each year held, payable on the first anniversary that the FTSE is higher, capital at risk in the event that the FTSE isn't higher on every anniversary and is 50% down at the end, or the bank goes bust, that is ultimately what you need to know. How that's made up behind the scenes is extremely complicated, in the same way that when you have an open-ended investment company, you have trustees, depositories, managers, they are trading equities and bonds, and we can keep going and make it as complicated as you like. But one of the beauties of structured products is it's very obvious as to what they are intended to do in terms of different market performance. Let's take a structured deposit. Now, a structured deposit might be designed to give us at least 100% return of capital at the end of the term. Obviously, it's a deposit-based contract, and therefore that's what you would expect as an absolute minimum. Now, to give us 100% return on capital at the end of the 5-year period, it's probably necessary to place 85 pence on deposit, and at the end of the 5 years, the interest that's been added to that 85 pence is going to give us our pound. So, what happened to the other 15 pence? Well, 5 pence, 6 pence, say, went off in charges, and that left us with 9 pence. That 9 pence might have been enough to buy us an option in the FTSE 100 index, which is going to give us 100% of any rise in that index. So that's straightforward. We've taken our capital, we've chopped off enough to give us a portion which is going to give us a return at the end, which is my original investment, and we've used the excess to pay our charges and buy participation in the index. If I'm prepared to put my capital at risk from the market falling by, say, anything over 50%, I'm going to get rewarded for accepting that risk. Now, that reward will come to me in the form of a premium for selling at the put option, which I will have to pay out on in the event that the market has fallen by more than 50%. Now, let's say the premium on that put option is also 9 pence, just for simplicity. So I can add that to the first 9 pence that I had left over, and ultimately what I'm buying now is 2 options that are going to give me 100% participation in the FTSE 100 index, and as a result I get 200% of the rise in the FTSE 100 index. I suffer a loss to capital only in the event that the FTSE has fallen by 50% at the end of the 5 years, and that loss is going to be paid out from the original pound when it matures at the end of the 5 years. And all that happens behind the scenes. So ultimately, it's what it says on the front of the brochure and in the straightforward terms and conditions that's what counts. But what goes on behind the scenes is very complicated, in the same way that the molecular, atomic, quark structure of a glass of water is very complicated.